Hello everyone. This video is going to show us how to complete the Angela's Problems table. We are going to go ahead and get started. First things first, make sure you put your name on there, first and last, and also your homeroom. If you have not done that yet, please do that now. Taking a look at the directions, it says, in Chapter 10, the author revealed more of Angela's inner thoughts and actions. Then it says, as a longtime friend of Angela's before she moved to Sunset Towers, you feel compelled to write her a letter and give her advice on her problems. To better draft your letter to Angela, complete the table below. So let's take a look at a few different things. So it says in Chapter 10, so we know that a lot of the information we need is going to be available to us in Chapter 10. And it says that you are a longtime friend of Angela. So this letter is going to require you to use your imagination and pretend like you are Angela's friend. And so this letter is going to ask you to give her advice. So let's take a look at the table. The first thing that we need to do is figure out what her problems are. If we look at the table, it's asking me to tell the first problem, give evidence from the text for that problem, and a solution. And the same for problem 2. So the problem, the evidence from the text, and the solution. Notice that textual evidence is worth more points than just identifying the problem and giving me a solution. So that probably means that we're going to need to go back and look at the text. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in so we're just looking at the top half. Okay, let's go take a look at Chapter 10. Chapter 10 starts on page 71. Actually 69. No, I'm a liar. What page is this? Okay, page 70 is where chapter 10 starts. So it's called The Long Party. So we're going to go ahead and read through this until we come to at least one of Angela's problems. And then I'm going to help you complete the first part of the table, and you'll complete the second part on your own. All right, chapter 10, The Long Party. I hope we're not too early. Grace Windsor Wexler always arrived at parties fashionably late, but not tonight. She didn't want to miss a thing, or a clue, or wait around in her apartment with a murderer on the loose. I don't think you've met my husband, Dr. Wexler. Call me Jake. Hello, Jake, Judge Ford said. A firm handshake, laugh lines around his eyes. He needed a sense of humor with that social climbing wife. What a lovely room, so practically furnished, Grace commented. Our apartments are identical in layout, but mine looks so different. You must come see what I've done with it. I'm a decorator, you know. 3 bedrooms do seem rather spacious for a single woman. What does she mean 3 bedrooms? This is a 1-bedroom apartment. Notice this is in quotation marks, so we're actually in Judge Ford's head right here, okay? Would you care for an appetizer, Mrs. Wexler? I'm curious to know exactly how you're related to the Westing family. The judge had hoped to take the heiress by surprise, but Grace gained time by coughing. Goodness, that ginger is spicy. It's the Szechuan cooking style, you know. How am I related? Let's see. Uncle Sam was father's oldest brother, or he was the youngest brother of my father's father? Excuse me, I have to greet my other guests. The judge left the prattling pretender. Father's brother or father's brother. If the relationship was on the paternal side, her maiden name would be Westing. The party went on and on. No one dared to be the first to leave, safety in numbers, especially with the judge there. So the guests ate and drank and jabbered, and they watched the other guests eat and drink and jabber. No one laughed. I guess murder isn't very funny, Jake Wexler said. Neither is money, Mr. Hu replied glumly. Deciding that his wife had found the perfect partner, the podiatrist moved on to the two women standing in silence at the front window. Cheer up, Angie Pye. You'll see your Denton soon enough. His daughter twisted out of his embrace. Are you all right, Angela? I'm fine. She was not fine. Why did they ask about Denton all the time, as though she was nobody without him? Oh, it wasn't just that. It wasn't even the humiliation of her mother chiding her about the twin costume in front of everybody and sending her back to the apartment to change clothes. It was more than that. It was everything. All right, we've come across our very first problem for Angela. I'm going to stop there. Angela says, I'm fine, and the narrator explains she was not fine. Why did they ask about Denton all the time, as though she was nobody without him? So there we go, there's our first problem. So we're going to go back to our table, and we're going to go ahead and fill this in. All right, change my font size. Okay. People always asked Angela about Denton Dear as if she were nothing without him. Okay, so now I need some evidence. So I'm going to go ahead and add some right here. In chapter 10, Jake, Angela's dad asked, Angela's dad, there we go, asked her about, I'm going to make this smaller since we're going to need to fit more, asked her about Denton, and she got upset. The narrator took us inside Angela's head, and Angela was wondering why people always ask about Denton and act like she doesn't matter without him. All right, so I have my problem and I have a piece of evidence. Notice this is 10 points, so one piece of evidence is definitely not going to cut it. I need at least 2 instances in the text that show that the problem exists. So either you'd need to keep reading in chapter 10 to find another example of a time when people act like Angela's nothing without Denton, or you need to go back further to anywhere in chapters 1 through 9 to get more evidence. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that we don't forget. Okay, so as a reminder, you need at least 2 pieces of evidence. So don't forget. Okay, then I would need to come up with a solution. So if everyone is always asking about Denton Dear and acting like Angela's nothing without him, we need to figure out what Angela should do about this. So I'm not going to tell you the solution because I'm betting that you can come up with something way better than what I could. I'm just going to give you a sentence starter to help you out. Angela should, and I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to let you explain what she should do. So Angela should, and then you would explain what she should do. Make sure you also explain why. So Angela should explain what she should do because. So this is an example of what I want it to look like. I gave you a problem. I gave you one piece of evidence. You need to give me at least one more on your own. And then for the solution, you need to explain both what Angela should do and also why she should do it. Okay, so that's what you need to do for this sheet. So you would do the same thing for problem 2 with just another problem that you've identified based on your reading of chapter 10.